La 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 grapes. La 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 grapes. La 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 grapes.
I'm going to talk about washing grapes in an indirectly plumbed sink. This is an indirectly plumbed sink. Notice that there is a gap between the pipe and the floor drain. In this type of sink, if the plumbing were to back up, it would back up onto the floor instead of backing up into the sink. Indirectly plumbed, like the sink in this video, you can wash grapes directly in the sink basin. You would need to first wash, rinse, and sanitize the sink. This is shown in super fast speed. This person washed out the sink with soap and warm water and got all the debris out of the sink. Next, she'll rinse it with clean water and then sanitize it with sanitizer. If you are at a secondary school, as seen in this video, you would use the quat sanitizer from the dispenser. Just make sure you get all the basin rinsed with sanitizer. If you work at a satellite school, you would still need to wash and rinse the sink, but in order to sanitize the sink, fill the sink with bleach water, sanitize the entire basin, and then drain the water. A very important step that is sometimes forgotten is that before you wash grapes, be sure to wash your hands and put on gloves. When using an indirect sink, you can wash grapes two ways. This way shows you that you can place a strainer pan in the bottom of the sink. If you work at a secondary school, you would cut the grapes into bundles as seen here. If you work at a satellite school, you would pull the grapes off the vine, but we will show you that later. Fill the strainer pan with grapes. Once the pan is full of grapes, you will run cool water over the grapes to rinse them off. Move the grapes around in the pan to make sure that all of them are rinsed off. The other way of washing grapes in an indirect sink is to place the grapes directly into the sanitized basin. Fill the sink with water and grapes and swish the grapes around to clean. Once the grapes are clean, you will drain the sink and gather up the grapes, as seen here.
La 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 grapes. La 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 grapes. La 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 grapes.
Now let's talk about how to wash grapes in a directly plumbed sink. This is a picture of a directly plumbed sink, which means that the pipes are directly plumbed into the wall or floor. There is no gap in a direct sink. This shows you how satellite school should divine their grapes. There is no need to take the stems off every grape. Just remove enough of the stem so they can be dipped with a number 8 dipper. Small bundles are okay. You should be destemming your grapes into a strainer pan. This pan will be used later to clean the grapes. Here is a picture of the grapes all destemmed. With a directly plumbed sink, you cannot directly place grapes into the sink. You must keep them above the floodplain. In this example, this school uses a sheet tray on top of the floodplain to keep the pan of grapes above the floodplain. The reason we have to keep them above the floodplain is because if the sink were to back up and we did not know it, the sink could back up all the way to the floodplain but no higher. As a part of health regulation, all ready-to-eat food must be kept above the floodplain to prevent cross-contamination. In this example, the school is not using a sheet tray to keep the grape pan above the floodplain, but instead holding the pan on the floodplain itself. In order to do this method, you would need to wash, rinse, and sanitize the rim of the sink to prevent cross-contamination. If you washed your grapes the day before service, you will need to store them in the cooler. Be sure to cover, label, and date them.
La